The Winchester house is the sort of strange historical footnote that any filmmaker would probably find fascinating. It's a creepy labyrinth full of stairways that lead nowhere, secret doors, and baffling rooms. It's a great setup for a horror movie, or at least it would be if the new supernatural thriller Winchester was actually great. The film takes a unique location and a fascinating character and only uses them to tell a flimsy and familiar haunted house story. Winchester stars Jason Clarke as Eric Price, a doctor hired by the Winchester Arms Company to determine if their largest shareholder, Sarah Winchester, is mentally fit to lead the company. Specifically, he's hired to say that she's not, and it shouldn't be too hard to prove. The Winchester house is the most damning piece of evidence. It's maddening to look at and unnerving to walk through, and Sarah claims that it houses the ghosts of all the people killed by Winchester rifles.
They want me to reconstruct the rooms that they died in. Then they can enter our world.
Sarah is played by acting legend Helen Mirren, and if anyone can convince you that ghosts are real, it's probably her. And that would matter if anyone actually needed convincing. The audience gets proof that the ghosts are real in the movie's very first scene, and there's nowhere to go from there. The whole story is told from the perspective of a skeptic, but everyone else is way ahead of him from the beginning, so there's no suspense and there's no mystery. There also isn't much acting. It's hard to imagine that scenes of Jason Clarke trying to convince Helen Mirren that she's insane would be dramatically inert, but here we are. Despite mountains of subtext, it all plays like an exposition dump, with Jason Clarke listening intently as Mirren explains all of the supernatural rules of the house that will eventually be important in the film's overblown climax. Meanwhile, the actual Winchester house is underused. The whole point is that the house is vast and confusing, but most of the film takes place in just a few rooms, so we always have our bearings and so does everyone else. This is a movie about a skeptic who comes to believe in the unbelievable, and yet there's no sense of losing control or of seriously questioning one's sanity. Even the jump scares are predictable and methodical. The whole film feels neat and tidy, and neat and tidy isn't especially terrifying.
The rifle doesn't discriminate, and many of the souls make their way to this house.
You won't lose yourself in this haunted house, even though that was supposed to be the whole point. A film about a labyrinth filled with ghosts quickly becomes methodical and familiar, stranding a great cast in an inert supernatural thriller. Thanks for watching, and for more on the latest movies, be sure to check out our reviews for Godzilla, Planet of the Monsters, and Batman: Gotham by Gaslight, and don't forget to like and subscribe to IGN on all your favorite platforms.